Fuckers, welcome to a new series. I mean, this is a demo. It's only a single day, but I found it because of my itch.io feed. One developed the creator of Beyond the Harbor. They recommended it and said that it was a really great horror game, which has my hopes up because I can see a great future for Beyond the Harbor. So, I'm obviously gonna play it. There was a warning though that was like some major triggering topics. So like I'm not just saying that to be all woke and edgy or whatever. I'm seriously saying that the person here said that the game wasn't very good for people with those issues. I'm trying to find where it is. There we go. Alright, I'm on my phone. And where is it? Where are we sure this is here? Okay, here it is. Warning, this game will include themes that some may find distressing, such as the topic of suicide, self-harm, sexual assault, violent imagery, depression, and other mental illnesses. If you find these topics, yeah, I'm not, I mean, I'm fine with it, but if you want, then please click off the video now, because I don't want to be the one to hurt you in any way, mentally or otherwise. Let's get into it. Oh. Oh, we're just jumping straight into it, okay. The wet mud squelches under my paws as I make my way through the unpaved streets of the Ninth Ward. Unpaved, what? I hold my shoes in my free hand, careful to keep them clean. I take careful not to step any of the broken bottles littering the street, courtesy of the locals. I guess I'd be considered local now by most, although I never really fit the bill. Another reason this needs to be done tonight. It starts raining. Hard. Adults quickly duck inside while children scream playing the newly formed puddles. Brave few shrug off the abrupt storm and continue drinking under the safety of their porch overhangs, waving their bottles at me as if to make a toast. I mimic the motion in return, noticing the shoes in my hand are now completely soaked. What the fuck are you? I chuckle to myself. When God decides to take a... I don't know what wish to give this fucker. I mean, when God decides to take a piss where you're standing, there's not much to be done about it. Something my grandmother used to say, but in that raspy Irish brogue that often added warmth to even the oddest idioms. Sections of New Orleans without paved roads seem perpetually waterlogged, leaving a distinct sulphurous odor on anything or anyone that walked through them. New Orleans, huh? Okay. It was actually pretty dangerous to walk on them right after a rainstorm. Tiny air pockets can create sinkholes that will catch you off guard if you step too hard on them. A little girl runs by in a mud-stained dress, laughing playfully as her mother closes in with a towel stretched out like a fishing net. I remind of all the times me and the old gang would sneak into the city to play with our secret friends here, not caring if our new clothes got dirty in the mud. We'd wait for a carriage to cross by in the hayfield and jump onto the back, picking up other kids along the way. Sam would usually miss the jump and plod behind, out of breath and useless by the time we got into town. Me, Tenny, and Charles would play soldiers while Sam, Jules, and Simone would stay behind and make us mud pie rations. One time, Tenny and I climbed up the rooftops and protected the fence with sticks until the sun went down. If Jules hadn't pulled me down, I doubt I would have remembered to go home. Simone always looked so glumly, I had to leave. I then remembered the beatings that would usually follow these outings. What the fuck? Jules would try to take the blame, being the oldest, but the adults never bought it. We'd all go to bed hungry with soft, sore bottoms, pretending to feel bad, but stifling laughter under our sheets, perfectly pleased with ourselves. It was hard not to laugh when the governess pretended to scold us from her parents, making goofy faces at us all the while. When the fuck does this take place? The crash to my left breaks me out of my reminiscing. Some cat's been flung ass over tea kettle down the steps of a pub by the gruff-looking security guard. Any pain is horribly reflected by his dazed expression, and I can smell the reek of liquor in his breath as he locks eyes with me. As I pass by, he greets me with that toothy jack-lantern grin that's so distinctive of felines, as he scampers off to find another haunt. The determination is almost honorable. You know what? This whole thing would be so much easier with a few drinks in my system. Maybe that cat's got the right idea after all. I glance back at the pub. Despite the government's best efforts, prohibition nor... Okay. Yeah, we're in the past. We're in the past, like really far, I'm guessing. Prohibition New Orleans never really stuck. People either brought their own from home or the owners kept it hidden away in the cellars. I look through the window and see the patrons inside singing joyfully off-key, playing cards, laughing. Even the bartender was getting in on the fun. No, it looks too rowdy. I'm looking for a soft, quiet descent into all I'm feeling before it's time to go. What the fuck do you mean? I follow the river out of habit and end up in the French Quarter, walking towards the welcoming lights that dot every window and veranda. Even with the heavy rain, the color and playfulness of Bourbon Street can't be dampened in the slightest. It's kind of funny, because as I'm reading this, I'm reminded of Interview with the Vampire, not the movie, because the movie isn't really that good to me, but the book is really good. Although this in 1700s, not whatever time this is, so I don't know. A band playing soft jazz finishes their set as I pass a nightclub, applause punctuated by the clink of glass and murmurs of approval. I scan the area, looking for something more quiet, intimate. The rain picks up and I wipe a few droplets off my brow with my other hand, forgetting I've been holding a bouquet this entire time. Thorn pricks me a little and I recoil instinctively, cursing in my breath the stupid thing. I glance at the letter hanging from the ribbon, holding the bundle together, unopened, practically turned to pulp. The hell am I doing holding on to this? Suddenly I notice a red light in the distance, setting itself apart from the sea of orange gas-lit lanterns. I feel drawn to it like a moth to a flame. The red is bright but gentle, leaning more towards the pink of the sweet hibiscus bloom than the blaze of a real fire. Getting closer, I see it's actually a neon sign. Did those exist in Prohibition era? The lights flickering each time a droplet hits the tube to the sizzle. The light glows gently through the stream, pouring out of the sewers below, practically covering the entire stormfront. It looks ominous, this small, dimly lit space surrounded by inky black on every side. But I'm not concerned with danger right now. I make a beeline for it, spotting a trash can in the corner. I dump the bouquet unceremoniously and walk up to the building. The sign's fully visible now, a simple rendition of a wine glass, and the words "bar" underneath. Creative but honest. Better yet, I don't hear the cacophony of typical of a fully crowded club. Not even music. This is perfect. I walk up to the doorway, using what little covers available to get some relief from the rain. I lean up against the door, trying to wring some of the excess water on my shirt to no avail. Oh well, I guess it won't matter. Besides, whoever owns the joint can't expect a dry customer with weather like this. I shrug and walk inside, the tiny bell chiming to signal my entry. The inside is wildly different from what I expected. The inside is wildly different than I expected from its humble exterior, looking more like a high rollers lounge than a speakeasy. There are tables for billiards and poker in the back, and cigarette dispensers lining the walls. Tending the bar is a tall, portly rabbit wearing a well-tailored suit. He hums to himself while drying some freshly washed glasses. He'd be totally unremarkable if not for the strange leather mask covering his face and ears. It makes his otherwise cuddly appearance a little sinister. He notices me making a wet spot by the door and waves me over with a friendly grin. Sure is coming down out there, ain't it? Sure is. Speaks in that slow, charming. I don't even know what that is, honestly. Slow, charming Lou isn't a draw I grew to love after moving here. He gestured me to sit, and I trod over, my soaking wet paws making audible plopping on the hardwood floors. The bunny doesn't seem to mind the potential property damage and spile that accurately squeeze into what the vinyl-covered bar stools. The feeling of my damp ass against the grippy seats and the shiver of displeasure at my spine. I shake it off and look at the rabbit who's staring back expectantly. Anything I can get you, sir? Can you make me a gimlet? Ah, of course. Come right up. He starts shuffling around behind the counter, and I take a better look at him now that I'm close. He's husky for sure. There's a power underneath that cage of fluff. You can tell from the way he effortlessly shuffles bottlenecks through his fingers, as if they weighed nothing. I imagine it simply comes with the job in this part of town. He occasionally looks back at me, clocking my stares. I expect at least a glimmer of disgust, the kind of homophobic recoil I've grown used to. But he's still pleasantly smiling at me. With a gentle pour, he finishes my drink, complete with a gold-ribbed cocktail glass and a lime wedge. Looks amazing. Please enjoy. Thanks. Take a slow sip, letting the alcohol linger on my tongue for a few seconds before I gulp it down. After the tingling on my throat subsides, I relax my shoulders, feeling calm for the first time in days. Maybe weeks. Let's go over everything one more time, just to be sure. First, they'll find the note in my bed. I'm sure Simone will mostly be confused. Atene will be angry. Neither will believe it. No telling what Jean will say. Either way, they'll probably try looking for me right away. I'm going to head east, find some tall trees well away from the roads. And then I look up and notice the bartender staring intently at me. I guess I got lost in thought. Thoughts been troubling you? Yeah, you could say that. I'm not keen on burying my soul to a random barkeep, friendly or not. Ah, naturally. A solemn little possum slinking out of his den to drink his problems away, but on a night like this, you have to be down on your luck. Well, I won't pry. A man has his reasons. But please don't hesitate to let me know if I can help ease whatever's ailing you, sir. I take great pride in pleasing my patrons. Rain or shine. Yeah, right. As if this is a problem that can be simply swept away. Once over at the game tables once again. I wonder if this was his way of convincing people to waste their money on them. Would you be interested in a game or two, perhaps? Bingo. Sorry, not my voice. And what, if I may ask, is... Really? Is this seriously a choice? Fuck it, I'm not doing that running away. I guess I just don't want to deal with my problems anymore. I tried to do what was expected of me. I tried to go against everything I was taught to believe. I tried to repair the broken bridge between me and the people I care about. Got shamed, rejected, used. Simone just looks at me like I'm like a fragile little egg that could break any moment. Jean only sees me as a tenant. Lord knows he's given me more chances than most. And a tenant just sees me as a mistake who keeps letting him stick his... I shot myself almost let something dangerous slip out to a total stranger. Is that alcohol catching up to me? I only had one drink. Pains me to see you going through so much strife. It really does. Why are you smiling? It's nothing. The guy said anything, really. I push my face in my hands and sigh. I don't feel any better after saying all that out loud. Maybe it was someone who actually mattered. I feel a slight sting as my fingers pass over the scratch on those roses. Suddenly I remember. Someone named Christine comes by looking for me. Can you give her this for me? Tell her I won't need it where I'm going. Takes the ring in his large paw and inspects it before pocketing and nodding. If it'll put your mind at ease. It actually does in a way. That was the fun of preparation. While it doesn't completely wipe away the guilt, there are no more strings left untied. That is, if you could indulge me in a simple gamble. I roll my eyes. I already told you. He stops me and holds a hand out, rolling a gold coin across his knuckles. It's nothing like that, just a simple coin toss. Think of it as a good omen towards your travels. Before I can protest, he flicks the coin in the air, catching the light, and glimmering as time seems to slow down for a moment. He catches it with the same hand and slams it flat in the desk all in one swift motion, a trick he's likely done hundreds of times before. Call it. Fuck it, heads. Heads. You would pick that. He lifts his hand and reveals. Tails. What's up my shoulders? Now what? Shame you didn't place anything on it. But didn't anyone tell you, son? Bets are best made when you already know what you won. But lucky for you, I'm feeling generous today. All I ask you is one simple task. Fair enough, what is it? About this actually fair, but who might argue with a 500-pound bunny? He reaches under his collar and pulls out a blank playing card. He slides it across the counter to me, grinning coyly. Keeps it pressed down in front of me for an uncomfortably long time, almost as if to make sure I know it's not a normal card. I nod and he pulls his hand back, going back to polishing that perpetually dirty glass. Just keep that on you for the time being. There's someone you have to give it to. Who? Oh, you'll know him when you see him. Trust me. Okay, then. Well, I guess I might as well oblige. This could be the last person I talk to. He gestures toward the door before facing away from me, tending to his bar. Sounds like it calmed down out there. Better get going before all hell breaks loose again. He was right. It was suddenly very quiet. Even the sounds of people and cars were strangely absent now. It was still pitch black out, maybe even more than before. It's been nice. You can call me Virgil, sir. Hope to see you again. Oh. That's the name. In case you don't know, Virgil was a Greek poet who, in Inferno, guided Dante through hell. I wonder what this game is gonna be about. Yeah, don't say that half as fun as it sounds. Right, I'll be going now, Virgil. I get up and head for the door, even though I want to leave. I feel a sinking pit in my stomach, like something awful is waiting for me on the other side. Already made up my mind. There's no point pussyfooting around like this. I march toward the door defiantly. I get about halfway before my legs feel heavy, as if I'm wearing sandbags around my ankles. I almost fall from the sudden resistance, but I keep a deep breath and keep pushing. The room almost seems to stretch away from me. I try to look behind, but the view of the room refuses to change, fixed at one point like a painting. I suddenly feel the intense glare of a predator burning in my blind spot. Virgil? Goodbye, Gray. Primal sense of dread makes me turn back around, and I squint and I sprint towards the door, ignoring the burning in my thighs from what feels like hundreds of pounds with each step. The hallway keeps stretching an impossible distance, but I can't stop moving, not with that thing behind me. My knees turn to jelly and I collapse. Barely catch my breath, my heart is beating on my chest. What the hell is going on? He puts in my drink after. Am I going to die here like this? No. Not like this. On my terms. I grab the dirty carpet and pull myself off the floor. The door seems to have stopped moving away, almost seeming to do it out of pity. The bastard. I start crying, pain shooting through my knees each time they come down. Tears are burning down my face and I resist the urge to vomit. Timely as all means, I pathetically inch forward, Darkness fades into different sides of my vision. The idea of blacking out is sounding better and better by the second. But I can't. Something is telling me not to give in. I feel something burning against my leg, something in my pocket. Taking a deep breath and gather unmarine energy for one final dash. The shadows in the room seem to warp into exaggerated shapes. I leap forward into spring position. The gravity on me is suddenly released and I sail towards the door. I make contact with the knob, and the room is flooded with intense red light. An impossibly loud siren blares behind me. I barely register any of it and fling the door open. The same inky black that seemed to surround the building before is now staring me in the face. I swear I can see it blink. Just like that, it's all around. Oh, fuck you! My body is violently corkscrewed into the void in front of me. All sense of direction is gone. My feet feel uselessly searching for a solid surface. My stomach lurches and I try not to throw up. Even though I can't see, my body knows it's upside down and it's freaking out. Organs weren't meant to be in suspended animation. My limbs are going numb. Is this... I always thought death would come quickly. I begged for it. Instead, it's a slow and cruel torture, drifting helplessly as infinity passes me by. I'm given one gift. Time. Time to reflect on everything. What the fuck is happening? My entire body is numb now. I don't even need to blink anymore. I feel the others here in the dark with me. They drift randomly, passing through each other occasionally. Ghosts. I feel some sort of connection with them. Our bodies are gone, but our emotions extend outward like extra limbs, caressing each other gently. I ease another's pain with a pleasant memory of my own. The first time I fell in love. This is the only solace I can offer, yet somehow it's the most important thing in the world to me. This is how things should be. Why didn't I help anyone when it really mattered? Waited and waited for someone to save me, ignore what everyone else was going through. I want to try again. I need to try again. As soon as a thought crosses my mind, my drift accelerates. I must be falling. I feel warmth return to my limbs, my bones crack and pop back to life. Glowing light surrounds me and the air vibrates with friction as I pass through layers of atmosphere towards something. I brace for what has to be certain death as the ground pulls up faster and faster, but... nothing. What the fuck? I'm in a grassy field dotted with yellow flowers. Dandelions, maybe. The sky is bathed with golden light as if time were frozen at sunset. Crows caw in the distance and a warm breeze sweeps over the beautiful expanse, eventually passing over me and ahead towards a familiar-looking building. The old house. The last time I saw it was looking back in disgust. Its former grandeur was replaced by peeling paint and rotted wood. The house I'm looking at now is nothing of the sort. It looked as pristine as welcome as it did when we were kids. A sudden rush of stimuli after feeling frozen for so long makes me terrible with emotions. I wish we could have all played here, not just the other plantation kids. Tenny, Simone, maybe even Jean if we had known him then. Everyone deserves to experience this. I walk out towards the house and stop, seeing a rustling from the tree line either side of me. I'm still on guard despite everything. I crouch in the tall grass, hoping it's enough to conceal my presence. Fortunately, a blade of grass finds its way up my nose and I sneeze. Loud. A moment passes enough when we head out to see four figures cautiously walking towards me. A well-dressed canine in glasses carefully stepping around the flowers. A hefty shark wearing ripped clothing stumbling over the uneven ground. A panther in leather scowling at the other three with his arms folded. A fox so small his ears poke above the grass, pushing his way through with worn-looking hands. My fear dissipates as they come closer. You can see how gentle their faces are. Even the feline who's intent on looking annoyed is clearly admiring the beauty of this place. I stand up and give them all a knowing glance, gesturing towards a flat area. We move over and sit down, the shirt plopping down hard enough to cause a puff of flower petals to shoot up behind him. Wolf starts to laugh, and we all follow suit as the bashful shark smiles a toothy grin. His teeth would be intimidating if they belonged to anyone else, but I can feel his kindness radiating out of every pore. The fox clears his throat and speaks with a surprisingly loud voice, suggesting we should all introduce ourselves. Panther sucks his teeth, plucking grass out by the roots with his idle hand one by one. After a moment of silence, the wolf speaks up, his deep voice rolling over my ears like warm honey. Name's Mark. I was just coming from Midtown, and, that's as far as I figured out. He tells us he comes from the Big Apple and works at a museum. Fox smiles, glad at least one of us is playing along. He brushes his big bushy tail against my leg and goes next. Okay. My name is Yashihiro, but just Hiro is fine. He's Japanese, but traveled west to do contract work with a German engineering team. I nodded as he spoke, but knew this wasn't anywhere close to Europe, or any city for that matter. Shark spoke up next. I'm sure, he said, looking through on, smile never fading. I'm Gabriel, nice to meet you. He's from California and was trained for his college's upcoming swim relay race. Muffled music is coming from the headphones around his neck, and he taps his fingers to the beat against his muscular thighs. Another moment of silence passes before Hiro jabs the panther in the ribs, glaring at him. Reluctantly, just as the shortest summary yet, never looking any of us in the eyes. Name's Ken. I'm a cyclist, that's it. Everyone seems satisfied with that answer, leaving only me. My name's Gray, I'm from Louisiana, and this used to be my house. I say as I gestured toward the building behind us. They collectively scan the building top to bottom, ending at me with a puzzled look. Gabriel scratches his chin. So, do you know why we ended here then? Mark lights a cigarette and takes a deep drag, exhaling smoke through his nostrils. He looks just as confused as the rest of us, so I doubt it. I glance over at Ken. A decent-sized pile of ripped grass sits next to him as he notices my gaze and stares daggers back. Either way, he's gotta have something to do with it. I swear if I knew, I'd tell you guys. I don't know why I'm here either. I say this, hardly believing my own logic. Hiro claws over to me and looks deep into my eyes, his little button nose only inches away from mine. Being this close, I notice how good he smells despite his clothes being covered in dirt and machine oil. His fur smelled clean and earthy, almost medically sterile like rubbing alcohol. I don't think he's lying. He stands up, brushing grass off his trousers. And even if he was, there's not much to gain here. I sense no malice in this place. Ben's ears perk up at that last remark, and he looks interested for the first time. Yeah, me neither. Mark sighs and lays down on the grass, resting his head next to Hiro's outstretched legs. As confusing all this is, I have to admit, it's pretty nice here, ain't it? I take over in soft silence of confirmation and lay down next to Mark. The dry grass that always tickled and pricked me as a kid suddenly feels softer than any bed I've ever laid in. Mark chuckles and flicks my snout with his ear, happy I followed his trend. Soon the others join us laying in a circle. Jesus Christ. We lay for what feels like hours. Every minute feels surreal, as if we were distant friends who finally met for the first time. Conversation came quick and easy, and pretty soon even Ken was joining in, albeit less frequently. The golden light intensifies, and this feeling of serenity overtakes me. I feel tears start to well up again, and I brush them away before anyone notices. I glance over at the others and feel relieved, seeing them rub their own glossy eyes. Gabriel is practically sobbing, making no attempt at concealing his emotions. Chan is more insistent on sniffling and riding away as a bout of hay fever, but at this point I've come to accept his stoicism as him being genuine. After another few minutes of silence, I speak out, my voice cracking a bit. I wish... I hear the rustles around me as everyone shifts to hear me better. I wish we could stay like this forever. Everyone agrees Gabriel's starting to blubber again. Why do I feel so sad? He chokes through gritted teeth. Hero turns over on her stomach and pats Gabriel's shoulder. I know what you mean. I feel Ken's tail brush mine and I glance over, seeing something that shakes me out of my cheery mood. I can see through his body. I shoot up and look back at everyone and see they're all fading away one by one. I yell, and I try to reach out to them and frozen in place. I swipe where Mark's shoulder should be instead of hit the ground beneath. The final outlines of their phantom forms fade out, and all that's left are the sounds of gentle sobbing. My own. I'm alone again. They looked so sad. This isn't fair. I wasn't foolish enough to believe in heaven until now, but for a brief moment, I was willing to believe in something, anything, if it meant we could stay together like this. I hunch over, sagging my arms, not caring about the mud soiling my sleeves, or the snot running down in my whiskers. I stay like that for what must be 20 minutes, refusing to look at the spot where they once lay. I could tell the light was dimming through the cracks between my crossed arms. The warm air was replaced by a cool, wet mist. As I remembered it, this reality. My jaw aches and my eyes sting. My pants pinch my waist uncomfortably. I can't stay here, whatever this is. I let me sit up and wipe my mess off with a snout. With the last clean section of my sleeve when I notice something glimmering in the grass ahead. I inch closer and see a rectangle laying where Mark was before. It's a card. What the fuck? I pick it up and turn it over, examine the intricate art. It's definitely a picture of Mark. Suddenly I feel that same warmth in my pocket again and pull out the other card. The one Virgil gave me? I had entirely forgotten about it until now. It's almost hot at this point, radiating light vibrating in my hand. It's almost hot at this point, radiating light and vibrating in my hand as if we're about to burst. I held it out to the other card, and they're the same size and shape, albeit Virgil's card was blank. I hear something from deep within me speak. I freeze. Some unknown thing within me is suddenly making their presence known. Its voice is deep and booming as if it yelling into an empty cathedral. I should be terrified, but its message is clear. Choose! Save him? Take a deep breath and do whatever these mysterious forces obviously want me to do. I place the cards together in my hand. Immediately they start to glow and vibrate. I throw out my other hand to try and keep them from falling, but soon the light envelops everything around me, and I'm falling. My body's floating again. Not as aimlessly as before. It feels like I'm being guided in a specific direction this time. I glance around this new space. It's an empty gray expanse of swirling mist. The air is humid as if it just finished raining. Though there was no ground in this place, strange pillars reach up into the sky from below. As I drift past one, I see it's actually a tower of intricately stacked stones, one over the other, all of the same size and shape. A cairn? Why do I know that word? The speed intensifies and I brace for impact again, expecting the same weightless feeling, and it's cold. Ow. It's bad enough I land on my ass, but did the ground have to be freezing? Pick myself up and see that I'm covered in snow. Not the cute, powdery kind, but instead it's the chunky, frozen kind that sticks to your clothes like icy glue. Oh, holy shit, what the fuck? Are we in New York? A loud car horn snaps me into focus, and I found myself in front of a bit massive department store, surrounded by even bigger buildings. I dust myself up and glance at the store's display window. The gold lettering reads, Stacy's Herald Square. Wait. I've heard of this place before, but it's in... Am I in New York? Like, fucking New York, New York. December 26th, Sunday. What the fuck? I spin around and am taken aback at the myriad of shining jewel-like lights that dot the skyline in front of me, stretching out into what feels like infinity. People hurry past me wearing colorful winter clothing. I feel severely underdressed. The designs of the building are much sleeker than what I was used to seeing in the odd catalog salon around the house. And again, the colors. They almost look like doll's clothes, especially with how form-fitting everything was. I knew New York was a fashion capital, but some of these women were running around with their legs on full display. Even with stockings on, aren't they cold? The next thing to grab my attention are the gigantic buildings in the distance, stretching even higher than that skyscraper in Chicago Father told me about. The Adams in LaSalle, these somber coffins of glass and cement practically reach into clouds, almost like those stone towers I saw earlier. Cairns. I wonder if the people who work in them ever feel nauseous, or if they can feel the buildings sway when it's windy. The idea of it makes my stomach drop and I crouch down, feeling like I wanted to vomit again. Every now and then someone would shoot me a worried glance, some even scowled. Eventually they all pressed on, forgetting me as soon as they saw me. I shouldn't be offended. I don't even know these people and it still hurts a little. Just how bad did I look? I went back out to the display window to take a better look, but something is wrong. What the fuck? Why can't I see myself? Was this some kind of special glass? No, I can see everything behind me just fine. My heart starts to race. Push my nose to the glass. I look into it, my eyes practically cross. I stare a hole. I stare a hole into where the reflection of my eyes should be. Nothing. I sink down on my knees, barely noticing the stinging snow under me. People behind me walk through where my head should be. Must look crazy. Am I then? I see more things that don't make sense pass by in the window's reflection. Models of cars, sleeker than anything in even my father's garage. Christmas songs I've never even heard of reverberating out of open store windows. A woman in a skirt too short to even be considered a slip, walking with a man who slips $1 between her exposed cleavage. This isn't right, I shouldn't be here. But I really don't feel like moving anymore. Too scared what was waiting for me in this strange place, too many variables. The metal vent I'm kneeling on is starting to cut into my shin. The snow is starting to soak into my clothes and I notice I'm violently shivering. It's the middle of winter New York and I'm out here in slacks and a ruddy shirt with no shoes. I know exactly why nobody's bothering to get near me. I don't blame them. Tomorrow's obituary. Unidentified vagrant possum found frozen at the outside shopping center. Nobody from home is going to find me this far east. What do I care? I'm about to hang myself in this tree, remember? This was supposed to happen one way or another. My fingers and toes are numb, I can barely move. I don't know what to do. I don't... The yellow cab pulls up behind me, stopping right between where my eyes should be reflected. I go up my nose and blink back into consciousness. I can sort of hear a conversation back there. The driver is saying something to the passenger. A laugh. Some coins are dropped and hastily picked up. And then I see him step out. Mark. Mark? It's really him. Same suit, same shockingly long legs, same smile. He bumps his head out of the cab and chuckles to himself before slamming the door behind him. He swings his briefcase over his shoulder and starts heading towards me, whistling Carol of the Bells to himself. I perk up, both happy to see him and also extremely confused. Is this real? What was all that bullshit before? I once I turned my body around to watch him, that numb feeling in my fingers becoming a slow burn. Watch him approach, I look for any glimmer of recognition in his eyes. He walks a few feet past me and heads straight for the front door. Of course. It's exactly like I thought. I'm the one who doesn't belong here. Mark looks like he's doing fine. Why should I bother him? He slowly reaches for the brass handle. Very slowly. I notice he is looking at me. Or rather, stealing quick glances at me before he thought I'd notice. Well, I look like shit. That much is obvious. Everyone else avoided me like the plague. A minute passes and he's still not managed to open that door. Was it heavy or something? Was the knob too cold? I shoot him a confused glance. He stares back and looks away flustered. Does he recognize me after all? Looks like he made up his mind this time. He slings the door open with one hand, confidently striking a pose if he should stride in. He looks at me again with those worn, gentle eyes. His shoulders droop, and he lets the door swing closed again. He mutters something to himself, almost argumentative. I have no idea what's going on, but I blink and he's in front of me. I reflexively flinch and fall on my back. It must be those legs. He cleared that distance in less than a second. He gently drops his briefcase on the ground next to his feet and bends down, reaching a paw out to me. Hey, do you need some help, man? It's bad out here. I could almost cry. Still, Mark, of course he'd help me even if we never met. I must let my emotions show because his hand drops a bit in surprise. He chuckles and pushes his glasses back up his snout with his other hand. Maybe something to eat? Someplace warm? I know a spot not far from here. I take his hand, pulls me to my feet, brush the snow up myself, and try to come up with something not crazy to reply with. Thanks. Yes, I could really use that right now. I avoid addressing him by his name, as that would definitely freak him out. We didn't meet for long, but even during that time, it was surprisingly tight-lipped about his personal life. Guess we'll have to redo most of the formalities if it's going to feel organic. Are you sure this is okay? Me going with you, I mean. I held my jaw to stop my teeth from chattering. He's already turned to walk away, beckoning me for me to follow him. Of course, anybody that's a problem with it will have a problem with me. He pauses before spinning around and gives me a serious look. Whatever your reasons, nobody deserves to live like that. Yet, he thinks I'm a bum. Well, I am out here doing my best bum impression, so I can't be too annoyed. But it's not like I can explain how I really ended up here. I don't need to think of an alibi on this walk. I really don't want him to think poorly of me. He navigates through the winding city streets nimbly, dodging oncoming pedestrians and hopping over potholes like some intricate dance he's perfected. Those legs. Right, an alibi. Maybe I hopped on a freight train wanting to see the world and got lost here. Or perhaps my wife kicked me out after a big fight and I'm still looking for a place to... He jumped over Doc without even looking. Wow. So if I use that one, I'll need some names. I'm sure Christine wouldn't mind. We fought because she's seen another man. And we're here. Shit. I look up and see a little hole-in-the-wall shop. Caravan Cafe. The sign is a motif of a little black cat in a Romani getup, brewing coffee. Wow, imagine not using the word gypsy. Wow, that's actually kind of cool. I promise the coffee's better than name, come on. Right. A little bell jingles over as we walk in. I'm immediately hit by the smell of cigarette smoke mingling with coffee beans. The warmth that just opened the door brings feeling back to my face, and Mark tugs at my sleeve. My regular table's further in. We squeeze past narrow tables and towards the back. The place is mostly occupied by teenagers reading poetry and doing homework. I even see a few jittery college-age kids with a worrying amount of empty cups littering their table. We eventually arrive at a little white table in the back corner. Spindly leaves hang down from rows of planters mounted on the wall, and there's a dirty mirror with a colorful tile border where a window would be if this wasn't such a tiny place. Compared to the chaotic facade, this part of the store is actually pretty quiet. I'm surprised none of them picked this table to study. It's nice back here. Mark's ears twitch and he glances excitedly at me. I realize this is the most casual I've sounded so far. Oh, well, I suspect it's because they get better service up front. One man's treasure, right? I nod and sit down, feeling the off-putting sensation of my wet ass against rubber for the second time today. He waves to someone behind me as an older female squirrel walks up with some menus and water. Some pieces of paper encased in plastic, and not a single English word on them. Before I can ask anything, she already darted back to the counter to greet some more kids walking in. Mark chuckles and slides his mid to the side, likely having a regular order here already. He looks at me expectantly. So, how... Mark. Name's Mark. I smile a little, wondering how long he's waiting to use that line. At least I don't have to keep pretending not to know it. Right, well met. I tell him my name in return. He nods and we shake hands. Happy to have successfully completed the first hurdle of conversation. I twiddle my thumbs trying to think of something to say. He notices my fidgeting and places a hand over mine. Hey, it's okay if you don't want to talk about yourself yet. Are you sure? Of course, nobody chooses to reside in the streets. I'm sure it was out of your control. It's pretty presumptuous, but I know he means well. He leans back in his seat, brushing a stray palm frond off his face. And even if it was your fault, we all deserve a second chance. Especially time of year. I remember the music I heard earlier and assume it's still December. Christmas. It's gotta be Christmas. Yeah, Christmas is always my favorite time of year, too. Martin looks at me puzzled, his long ears perking up. Afraid you're a day late for that one, Gray. I forced an awkward laugh and looked to the side. Wow, how long was I out there? I must have lost track of time. He looks more annoyed than confused now. Shit. New Year's then. He sighs and adjusts his collar. Phew, you got me worried for a second. That's on me, though. I should have considered you wouldn't have a way to keep dates. I'm sorry. No, it's fine. You're good, honest. Though if I'm being honest, I'd rather talk about anything else right now if that's alright. As if on cue, the waitress comes back to take orders. This is always the last stop on her route as she hasn't checked on us in at least 5 minutes. I realize I haven't even looked at the menu yet. She taps her pen and notepad impatiently. You two need more time? Sorry. I look at Mark and he picks up my naivete. We'll have 2 cappuccinos. Swell, I'll have those come by in a few. She trots away, her fluffy tail obscuring most of her body. I sigh in relief and thank Mark for doing me a solid. I've never been to an Italian-style cafe before. Cappuccino's good? It's a little more bitter than French coffee, but you wouldn't know unless you're aficionado. I'm definitely no expert. I think of all the sugary French press coffee we'd get at bakeries back home. Usually with warm bonnets, dripping in honey, and a bag of donuts to take home. My stomach growls. Maybe we should get some pastries along with those drinks? I blushed. I was already pretty red from being nearly frozen to death. Not a bad idea. So, Mark. Hmm? Tell me more about yourself. Not fair to have all the questions be aimed at me, is it? That may have been a little bold, but I'll say anything to get the attention off me. Yeah, fair enough. I'm actually an archivist at a museum. Ever been to the MoMA? No, I'm still fairly new around here. Like 10 minutes new. So you work in the arts? That's a very sophisticated field, and you definitely look the part. I just do his outfield and he shoots me. Wink. Comes with the job, though I guess sophisticated depends on your point of view. Art is pretty subjective. A lot of contemporary works are considered challenging by our older patrons. Personally, I want to see our galleries so much attention to the masses now, not what wowed them for 50 years ago. The new generation are standing at the precipice of the next cultural zeitgeist. Frankly, things haven't been this exciting in the art world for ages. Sam's eyes are sparkling. I can tell he's really passionate about it. It's really cute, especially for such a big guy. Yes, I agree. Art is what we make of it, so naturally it would change as culture evolves. I remember seeing art by Duchamp that I tried to wrap my head around for almost an hour. I don't think I ever really got it, but it left an impression. He cocked his head to the side, still smiling but with furrowed brows. Duchamp, eh? He was revolutionary for certain, but that's not exactly modern. Right now it's all about Lichtenstein and Warhol, you know? The stuff they do downtown is completely outrageous, but that's what's so great about it. But that painting was in a recent exhibition, no? At least when I saw it in Philadelphia. That couldn't be. I would have heard about a Duchamp exhibition, even if we're in Vienna, let alone Philly. I'm losing control of the narrative. I need to change the subject, but it's keeping him engaged. Feeling as something being off as rearing its ugly head again. Again, as if on cue, the waitress plops 2 steaming cups between us and tosses some sugar packets at me. Warhol? What? When is that? What time period is this? I'm gonna do some quick googling and see, cause I don't know my art history, so um, who the fuck okay. So, okay, 1920s or something like that, okay. Huh. Oh boy. I shoot her an awkward thumbs up, ignoring the blatant aggression. She seems satisfied with this and walks back to her station, swatting me with her tail as she turns. Mark grimaces at her before turning his attention to the drinks, gleefully grabbing one and lapping at the foam like a puppy you hadn't learned to take sips yet. It's alright, she can be a real card sometimes. I don't think it's you she's mad at. I shrug and look at the cappuccino. It's pale. Is it all foam? I smile at Mark as I bring the cup to my lips, not wanting to appear ungrateful for the free food. I take a sip. It's bitter. I quickly tear open a sugar pack and stir it in, but it's still got a vile, burnt flavor. My disgust must be apparent because I hear Mark giggling. I sigh and give up, pushing the cup away. Hey, it's fine. If you don't like it, we can order something else. I know you don't get treated like this often, so I'd rather you get something you actually like. Thanks, really. Maybe just a muffin or something. You don't need to go out all out on me. Please, what could that have cost? $1? A dollar? Mark looks surprised. I know I've said something weird again. Maybe I don't drink the fanciest imported brands, but I've never paid more than 10 cents for a cup of joe. Okay, you are really out of time period, aren't you? Everything I've heard about New York's true. How do these people live? Hey, are you sure you're alright? Hastily not about to offer another excuse when I catch stray fragments of a conversation from the front counter. The same surly waitress is yelling near the phone while angrily flipping through some papers. No, no, no. I said the poster should read Rain in 66 with Caravan Cafe, not Minivan Cafe. What the hell's a Minivan Cafe anyway? Does that make any sense to you? Man, what a bitch. Wait, 66? There's no way this place has been open 66 years of service this bad. So that must mean... Hey, am I going deaf from her screeching, or did she just say 66? Huh. Yeah, right. Hard to believe how fast this year flew by. Can't say it was a great year for me, so... Good riddance to 1965 as far as I'm concerned. Holy shit. Wow, okay. Okay, I'm really intrigued now. Holy shit. The room feels like it's closing in. I'm 37 years in the future? I imagine what my friends must look like now. If they're still alive. Holy shit, man. What the fuck? Wow. Oh my god, 1920. No wonder you're confused. Holy shit. My parents are probably dead. Quiet notion that was gnawing away at me is loud and clear now. How are people supposed to respond in this situation? Strangely, I don't feel much of anything. It's probably a normal trauma response. This is fine. I can deal with this later when whatever this is over. Gray! I snapped to attention. You went quiet on my buddy. What's wrong? Gray, whatever it is, you can tell me. Fucking tell him the truth. I can't keep this charade forever. It wouldn't be fair to him. Take a deep breath and tell him everything. About Virgil and Nightmare Bar, about me and him, everyone else in that beautiful place, about magically traveling to New York by means I don't fully understand myself. I talk for what feels like an hour, not breaking eye contact, so he knows I'm being serious. He doesn't interrupt me the entire time. Occasionally he'd nod or take a sip of water. I can't read his face. Finally I finish and lean back in my seat. There's nothing else I can do now. Mark gulps down the rest of his coffee before speaking up. That's certainly a lot to go through in one night. You must be so tired. So, you believe me then? Leans forward, looking at me intently. It's not so much that I believe everything you told me, but your feelings are real and that's important. And if what you said is true, you've had a hell of a day. I'm stunned. At best I expect him to write me off as some lunatic roaming the streets, chalk this up to a failed experiment in charity and bid me farewell. He's taking this way better than expected. I feel a little less crazy. I mean, this is real, right? We're sitting here eating and talking. There's an explanation for this out there somewhere, and I'll find it. Mark takes my sound so cue to stand up and pat me on the head before turning to head out of the shop. We walk back out, and I wince at the cold air hitting my snout. It's only 6, but the sun's completely set. I see it stop snowing and sigh with relief. Mark chuckles and walks to the curb, sticking out a thumb. Don't worry, I wasn't planning on leaving you out here again. Huh? He excitedly waves down a taxi and gestures me to come over. You can stay with me for a couple of days. I have tomorrow off already. Maybe I can give you a little tour of the city. This day keeps getting more and more surreal. Regardless of how sketchy this would be in normal circumstances, I'm not above staying at a stranger's house. Especially without a turn of staying out here. It sounds fun, I'd be delighted. I'm not even lying. Apart from all this weird shit going on, spending a day sightseeing with Mark sounds incredible. I duck into the cab and he follows suit. He has to slouch so his head isn't poking into the roof, but he's probably used to it at this point. The cabbie's merciful and spares at the chit-chat, Mark only having to give him occasional comments about directions. We ride silently for a while, the fallen snow muting the cacophony of the city around us. For the first time in what feels like ages, I feel things are finally calm. I feel Mark gently place a hand on my thigh. I shoot him a smile, reciprocating my looking arms and placing my hand over his. Everything is so cozy. Someone's shaking my shoulder. I feel drool on my chin. Did I fall asleep? Ugh. Something about long car rides always puts me in a trance. I crack open my eyes. Mark's still rocking me awake. Time to get out, sleepyhead. Sorry, I guess I'm more worn out than I thought. We shuffle out of the cab and back into the chilly air. It's evening now, and the streetlights are blazing. So, this is your place, huh? I'm staring at the luxurious-looking high-rise apartment building. There must be at least 30 floors. Mark chuckles and pats me on the back. Oh boy, he's probably gonna have a TV. Oh, that's gonna be so weird for him. Oh my god, I love this. I love this setup. This is so good. Come on, let's get you inside. I nod and follow him down the cobblestone path in the lobby. I step inside. As expected, it's an upscale place with a sign and sheet and lobby attendants. There's an Art Deco theme that wouldn't seem that out of place in my own time. Mark heads over to sign us in and makes small talk with the woman. I wander over to some small trees planted in a bed of little stones. I instinctively take one and roll it around my hands. It's cool and smooth. I try to imitate the way Virgil rolls coins across his knuckles, but it's too big. I feel a hand on my back and almost drop it. See something you like? Well, no, I guess. It's just something I like to do when I visit a new place. Like a keepsake? Sort of. It's something my grandmother used to do. She had all kinds of strange habits. There was always a reason behind them. Need to acquaint yourself with the land first so it's friendly. After all, you're about to trample on it, ain't you? Better to knock first. I slide the rock in my pocket and fall over to the elevator. Of all the technological advancements I've seen so far, this is the one I've been most curious about. There's no way an elevator operator would want to ride up and down these huge buildings all day, right? The brass door is open and it's empty. Says I'm the right guess, I march in and lean against the wall. Mark presses the button up for the top floor and the doors close automatically. I eagerly anticipate what the rest of the place looks like as we ascend. We arrive and step out into the hallway. It's lined with some inoffensive landscape portraits and a few plants here and there. I follow Mark down the hall to the last door, 35E. I try not to think about how high we are. Keys jingle and leads me inside. Welcome to Casa de Mark. My god. Somehow this is even more out there than I anticipated. Odd paintings of every shape and size hang on the walls. Sculptures of figures that don't even need to approach standard anatomy are strategically placed in Core's living room. Tribal masks are hung over the fireplace and with tiny hand-painted figurines on the mantle. I turn to look at Mark and he's practically beaming. Well, what do you think? I've been slowly buying my favorites from our collection for a few years now. If I didn't know he worked in a museum, my second guess would be a thief or a schizophrenic. It's unique, it's definitely you. And what's that really mean? This is all pretty beyond me. Sorry, if you explain some of it to me, I'd be able to appreciate it more. He nods and points to the nearest painting to me. It's an extremely abstract piece with splatters of green and purple paint. Oh, so like a Jason Pollock weird thing, okay. There's a single drip of yellow down the center, and little black scribbles of humanoid figures that seem placed random. This one was done by a young Darkford man down in the village. We did a little showcase of local talent a few years back. I believe the contrasting colors and the manic energy of the piece represent social unrest caused by the poor race relations in our supposed modern society. What's the yellow represent? I think a janitor was using as a table after the exhibition closed. That's probably just mustard. Ouch. Guess Mark saw something that nobody else did. Search around for another one and see a small Persian fox with green fur and cut out newspaper clippings where his features should be. And this one? Ah, good eye. That's actually a vintage page from the Dadaist movement. The absurdity of the image is a direct response to the pointlessness of war. This was probably done by a small group of rebel artists trying desperately to transpose their feelings about the First World War. First? There were more? I'm gonna have to find a history book at some point and catch up. Yeesh. Okay, and what's with the big white one behind you? I pointed a huge blank canvas that takes up most of the west wall. Of course there was gonna be a completely blank canvas. Of course there was. It's art. What do you expect? Mark hunches over, searching for something before pointing at the bottom corner. I squint and see a little signature in pencil. Henry Gerber. Isn't it great? Sure. He laughs and stops to light the glasses on his sweater before explaining. It's a blank canvas signed by an unknown. I found it at the flea market 7 years ago and had to have it. You see, I have no idea who this person is now. But who knows? In a few years, it might be a household name, taking the art world by storm. So when the day comes, I'll be the proud owner of an original Henry Gerber. I can't help but smile. This charming optimism is charming. Endless optimism is charming. Good grief. I take a seat on the couch and pat the cushion next to me. Without hesitation, he goes up to me, clearly happy to finally stretch his legs. It's all impressive, there's no doubt about it, but I'd be happy whether you lived here in a shit shack. Mark slides his loafers off and props his paws up on the ottoman. I hear a few joints pop as he yawns and stretches, slyly placing an arm around me. Anything beats New York in winter. But this is probably better than a shit shack. No, it definitely is. Decorations aside, this place was immaculate. Not a speck of dust or an item out of place. It doesn't feel lived in at all. And I appreciate a tidy housemate. My old roommates were slobs. Probably not a great way to put the magnifying glass back on me, but I feel more comfortable now. I'll bet. I don't really spend much time here, truth be told. You're actually the first guest I've had here. Seriously? I'd be showing this place off every chance I got. What about your friends? Swish and softens as he looks down. Well, when you put it that way, I guess I don't have many of those. I feel like an ass for bringing it up. I don't get how someone as outgoing and friendly as Mark could be a loner. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. No, that was a normal thing to ask. I hear it all the time at work. I'm used to people worrying about me. It doesn't bother me. I lean into him. Whatever apprehension he had with that arm behind me is gone. He gently hangs it around my neck. If tomorrow goes well and I can find a way to pay you back for all this, I wouldn't mind being friends. Really? Are you sure? You've been nice to me all day. Do you plan on stopping anytime soon? He pulls me in a little tighter. No, I don't. Good. We sit there for a while and just listen to the sounds of the city and the ticking of a clock. Eventually Mark yawns and we start to get ready for bed. I opt to take the couch despite his protests. I assure him we'll sleep just fine and he turns off the lights. I'm wiped. The concept of linear time was completely gone out the window, but I knew that my mind and body were at its limit. I pulled the sheet he supplied over me and tried to relax. But my mind is still racing. There were so many things I still can't explain. And Virgil, that horrifying thing that chased me. I shudder. Let's think about something more pleasant, shall we? Mark is very pleasant. He'd be the picture next to the word pleasant in an encyclopedia. And very fucking cute. Is he into me? Are people still in the closet in the future? He got awfully close earlier and he smelled really good. Feels something in my... Oh my god. What are my friends doing now? Are they still in New Orleans? Did they ever stop looking for me? Didn't my family care? These thoughts aren't helping. I'm too tired for this. I focus on the tick of the clock. I count the rhythm in my mind. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. I stir out a deep rest. What happened? Oh, right, this is Mark's place. It's still dark, so it couldn't have been more than an hour since I fell asleep. I slowly opened my eye and checked the clock in the wall. A sudden flash of light blurred my vision and rubbed my weary eyes. TV, that's what Mark called it. Why was it on now? I sit up and that's when I see it. Mark is here, staring at me. Okay, I could have sworn there was something creepy in the mirror. I almost fall off the couch. Mark, what are you? Something wrong? He doesn't say anything, he just smiles at me. His eyes look blank. Is he sleepwalking? Mark? Suddenly the TV starts playing a recording. Everyone ready to reign in the new year? The ball is coming down. 5 seconds left now. Count with me. What the hell? Okay. Hi there. Hi there. Oh my god. Um. Okay. Fuck. Fuck. Can I even show this on YouTube? What the fuck is happening? Mark, what was... Oh no. No. I fall to the floor. Everything is wet. It smells like iron blood. What the fuck was that? I can't bring myself to look at it. Nope. No volume. Here's something. This can't be fucking real. I fumble around, look over my eyes, and turn something solid and screw. Okay. It's the texture of ground beef. Something awful flashed through my mind. I put my hand away. Violently on the floor. Light flooding was much rather than when it started to rob. It's the whole mess of everything being like shitty. Ah! For the awful wet texture all over the front of me can fully register, I pull myself up again. Adrenaline's kicking in. Fuck everything else, I need to get out of here! I weakly stumble over the door and undo the locks. Hands are shaking and slick with blood. I struggle with the chain a few times before I just yank the door open. Time to worry about a broken chain. Nothing about this is fixable anyway. I sprint. There's like veins. There's veins all over the... What the fuck? I sprint into the hallway. My socks are completely soaked and I quickly pull them off and toss them to the side. I can't risk falling again. Everything here is distorted and unclean. The canvas with the paintings has brought it away. Towards the elevator, but something has grown over the doors. Something organic, it's pulsing. No time. I look to the left and see a sign. Rooftop access. I need to get outside. Something is happening. I sail up the short winding staircase and burst out into the roof. What the fuck? The sky is red. Stormy clouds are swirling in pillars in the distance. There's strange vine-like structures stretching into the sky from random points. The city's skyline is unlike. The buildings are in the wrong places. I cautiously walk over the edge and look into the streets below. Chaos. People are moving strangely, anxiously. Running on all fours, feral. Hanging off streetlights and wrecking cars. I smell smoke. I hear gunshots echo between buildings further downtown. I'm trapped. I lean against the guardrail and slide down to the floor. I can't do this anymore. I feel heavy. The panic is fading and is soon replaced by apathy. I lay there for a while. I stir. I must have blacked out again. I'm still here. I sigh and curl up into a ball. Helpless. I feel fucking helpless. It's a god-awful feeling knowing you can't do anything. I can't help but feel like I'm being toyed with again and again. Is this my punishment? For what, wanting to kill myself? Wouldn't that have satisfied you? Why are you shedding innocent blood just to fuck with me? Whoever's doing this must be enjoying themselves. Virgil. That fucking lunatic. Just like me to get suckered in by a pretty face. You think I'm pretty? My old body shuddered from the vibrations of a booming voice coming from above. My brain rattling on my skull, my teeth feel like they're about to shake loose, and I clench my jaw. I peek out over my shoulder, just enough to see two massive yellow orbs in the sky staring down at me like searchlights. It blinks. Oh God. That's it. I'm over my limit. My brain is going to pop. Something's leaking out my ears and my tongue feels swollen. I think I'm sinking to the floor. It's morning. I'm lying in a soft bed. The window is slightly open, the curtains slowly ebb and flow. Sunlight dances across the ceiling. I hear the morning. I hear soft snoring. Mark is here. Of course. It's just a nightmare. You're with Mark. I'm safe. He's safe. Nothing bad is going to happen. I turn over and see a bloody hole where Mark's face should be, triggering me to scream and push myself out of the bed. No! God damn it! I tried so hard not to see it. Pull myself down, I'll put sheets and bury my face in them. Go away! Go away! Gray, is that you? Pokes his head over the edge and looks down at me. It's his face again. Thank God. Is everything alright? I heard a scream. You're okay. Of course I'm okay. I'm asking about you. Right, sorry. Wipe the tears and snot and sit up in the bed. Mark's rubbing my back and making sushing sounds to calm me down. I ask how he got into his bed, and he says I went comfortable on a couch and crawled in here at some point during the night. I don't know how plausible that is, but I'm just glad to be here next to him again. Now what happened? Bad dream? That's oversimplifying things, but I nod. I'm just glad you're okay. I was really scared. I was all alone. Hey, I'm not going anywhere, buddy. I promise. Promise. Pinky swear across my heart and all the rest. We know a lot of pinkies, and I choke out a giggle. I feel like I'm being bait, but I don't mind, and I panic easily, and that was one of the worst nightmares of my life. I swear if anything happens to this man, I'll hunt Virgil down and rip his goddamn head off. Wherever you are, if you're still out there, consider this a challenge. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm hyped. Fuck yeah. That was perfect. That's how you do a fucking visual novel. Holy shit, I'm so excited for this. Oh my God, okay. I can't put my thoughts together right now. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna end the video. See you next time.